My beloved child, you've been holding on to someone whose words sounded right, but something inside you kept whispering that the spirit behind those words didn't match. You felt it in moments when his voice was warm but his actions were cold. You felt it when he said he cared, yet you were the only one doing the emotional work. You felt it when he claimed he was trying, yet nothing truly changed. You felt it when the connection looked alive on the surface, but spiritually, emotionally, and energetically, it was starving. And you kept questioning yourself, wondering if you were imagining it, wondering if you were asking for too much, wondering if maybe love was supposed to feel this confusing. But deep down, your spirit knew something wasn't aligned. This message arrives now because you're stepping into a season of revelation, and God is preparing you to see what you could not see while you were loving with your whole heart. You've been loyal, patient, forgiving, hoping, believing, and giving chances long after he stopped giving effort. You didn't stay because you were blind, you stayed because your heart is honest. Your intentions were pure. You truly wanted it to work. You wanted to believe the best. You wanted to see growth. You wanted to witness change. You tried to meet him where he was, even when he gave you the bare minimum and expected you to treat it like abundance. You tried to carry the connection even when he stopped carrying his share. You tried to keep the flame alive even when he was the one slowly blowing it out. What you're feeling now is not confusion, it's awakening. It's the moment your spirit starts rising higher than your attachment. It's the moment you begin to see clearly what love looks like when it's present and what it looks like when it's only performed. There is a difference between someone who loves you because they value your soul and someone who says they love you because they value your availability. Words are easy. Words are painless. Words cost nothing. But real love costs something. It costs consistency. It costs effort. It costs honesty. It costs responsibility. It costs growth. And he wanted the comfort of your presence without the responsibility of your heart. God has watched you give chances, and he's watched you carry hope even when your spirit was tired. He saw the moments you cried quietly, not because he hurt you with cruelty, but because he hurt you with absence. He saw the nights when you replayed conversations, asking yourself why someone who said they loved you never truly showed it. He saw the moments when you lowered your needs, softened your expectations, and shrunk your voice just to maintain peace. But peace shouldn't require you to disappear. Love should never require you to betray your intuition. Affection shouldn't exist only in conversations but go missing in choices. This is why God is stepping in. Because he sees the parts of this story you've been ignoring. He sees the motives that didn't match the promises. He sees the intentions behind the charm, the patterns behind the apologies, and the disconnect behind every I love you that never translated into action. God is not exposing him to embarrass him, he is exposing him to free you. To protect you. To lift you. to guide you toward the type of love that won't exhaust you. Sometimes the softest heartbreaks come from people who meant well but never meant enough to grow. Sometimes the hardest truth is realizing he loved having you, but he didn't love honoring you. You've been sensing the shift. You've been noticing how his energy feels present in words but distant in spirit. You've been noticing that the connection doesn't feed your soul anymore, it drains it. You've been noticing that you're the only one trying to bridge a gap he pretends not to see. You've been noticing that every time you step forward, he steps sideways. Every time you try to grow, he stays stagnant. Every time you reach for closeness, he reaches for comfort. And comfort is not the same as commitment. The reason this message comes now is because your heart is ready for truth, and truth is ready for you. What God is about to expose is not meant to break you. It's meant to release you. It's meant to lift the weight you've been carrying in silence. It's meant to break the hold that words had over your emotions. It's meant to show you that a man can say I love you out of habit, out of fear of losing you, out of loneliness, or out of convenience, but real love shows up with alignment, stability, and sincerity. God is revealing the difference, and when that truth arrives, it won't come with chaos. It won't come with anger. It won't come with a dramatic moment. It will come softly, gently, and clearly, a realization that settles into your spirit and refuses to leave. You will feel yourself detach from what once held you. You will feel your mind stop fighting your intuition. You will feel your heart stop negotiating with potential. You will feel the emotional knots loosen. You will feel the desire to fix things fade. You will feel the heaviness fall away as if God Himself reached into your chest and removed what was weighing you down. The truth God is preparing to reveal will show you that you were never unworthy, you were unmatched. You were never asking for too much. You were offering too much to someone who didn't know how to receive it. You were never too emotional. You were emotionally responsible in a connection where he was emotionally absent. You were never hard to love. He was simply unequipped to love you the way your soul needed. And when God exposes His hidden heart, not to humiliate him, but to liberate you, you will understand why the relationship always felt slightly out of rhythm. Why there was always a gap between what he said and who he was. Why you felt something missing even when everything looked fine from the outside. His love lived in his words, not in his spirit. It lived in conversations, not actions. In promises, not patterns. In emotions, not evolution. And God knows the difference even when you try to overlook it. This exposure will not break you. It will build you. It will make you wiser. It will purify your discernment. It will refine your boundaries. It will elevate your spirit. You will not walk away feeling defeated, you will walk away feeling aligned, and when God removes what only pretended to love you, He makes space for what is truly meant to cherish you. You've carried this connection longer than your spirit has been at peace with it, and that's why this season feels so heavy. You've been trying to hold together something that kept slipping from your hands, not because you were weak, but because you believed in the potential more than he believed in the responsibility. You kept giving love at full volume while he kept loving you on mute. You kept showing up with sincerity while he showed up with excuses. And every time you tried to convince yourself that his words meant something, your spirit tugged at you, whispering that something deeper wasn't aligned. You tried to tell yourself he just needed time. You tried to tell yourself he was healing. You tried to tell yourself he meant well. You tried to tell yourself love would grow. You tried to tell yourself you could be patient, supportive, understanding. But patience without reciprocity becomes self-betrayal. Support without effort becomes imbalance. Understanding without honesty becomes confusion. And you were never meant to sacrifice your emotional clarity to keep someone else comfortable in their emotional uncertainty. That is why God is stepping into this story, not because he wants you to lose anything, but because he refuses to let you lose yourself. He refuses to let you continue pouring into someone who only receives but never pours back. He refuses to let you carry a bond that requires your silence. Your shrinking, your overthinking, or your constant self-doubt. He refuses to let your heart become a place where inconsistency feels normal. And he refuses to let words be enough when your soul deserves commitment. What God is revealing in this season is not only who he truly is, it's who you truly are. You are someone whose love has depth, intention, honesty, and endurance. You are someone who doesn't play with hearts, who doesn't manipulate with affection, who doesn't promise without meaning it. Your love comes from your spirit, not just your lips. And that is why counterfeit love cannot remain in your life. Your spirit rejects what does not match its truth. Your intuition exposes what your heart tries to hide. Your soul refuses to settle for something that drains it. This is why you've been feeling the internal pull, the emotional disconnection, the heaviness that doesn't make sense. It wasn't sadness, it was revelation. It was God showing you that you cannot stay connected to something that was never truly connected to you in spirit. You may have been emotionally committed, but he was spiritually absent. You were building from the heart, while he was speaking from habit. You were investing in forever, while he was living in moments. You were ready for a partnership, while he was still stuck in the comfort of your presence without the clarity of his intentions. Soon, the truth will become undeniable. You will stop wondering if he cared as much as he claimed. You will stop blaming yourself for the imbalance. You will stop trying to justify the inconsistency. The revelation will bring peace, not pain, because it will align you with what God always intended for your life, relationships rooted in spirit, not just words, connections that nourish, not drain, love that reflects God's heart, not human convenience. And when that truth becomes clear, the emotional attachment you once felt toward him will begin to loosen. You will wake up one day and realize the grip he had on your heart is gone. You will look at the situation with new eyes, eyes that see patterns instead of promises, actions instead of excuses, reality instead of potential. You will stop feeling responsible for carrying the connection and start feeling grateful that God removed your illusions. Your love for Him won't turn into hatred, it will simply transform into understanding. You will understand that He loved you in the only way He knew, but it was not the way your soul needed. You will understand that He was not your destination. He was a chapter, a mirror, a lesson, and then something powerful will happen. You will begin to detach from the version of Him you hoped He would become. You will release the fantasy you built in your mind. You will stop grieving the relationship you imagined and finally accept the one that actually existed. This acceptance won't break you. It will free you. Because when you accept the truth, you stop fighting for illusions. And when you stop fighting for illusions, you make room for what is real. God is preparing you for real. Real love, real commitment, real reciprocity, real emotional connection. God is preparing you for a relationship where words and spirit match. Where love is expressed through actions, not just conversations. Where consistency is natural, not requested. Where honesty comes without fear. Where effort is mutual. Where your heart is safe, not exhausted. You have outgrown relationships built on emotional convenience. Your spirit is craving alignment, depth, authenticity, and truth. And that is what God is placing on your path. The exposure coming your way will not be dramatic, it will be divine. It will shift the way you see Him, but more importantly, it will shift the way you see yourself. You will begin to realize that the love you offered deserves someone who can give it back in equal measure, with equal purity, with equal depth. You will realize that you deserve someone whose spirit recognizes yours, whose actions support their feelings, whose heart matches their words. God is not letting you settle. God is not letting you confuse potential with partnership. God is not letting you stay trapped in cycles of hope that never lead to change. God is pulling you out before your heart breaks completely. God is exposing His hidden heart to protect yours. This revelation is not punishment, it is redirection. And you will thank Him for it later. You are not losing love. You are losing the illusion of it. And that loss is what will open the door to the love that was meant for you all along. You are arriving at the moment where God gently turns the light on in a room you've been sitting in for far too long. At first, the brightness may feel uncomfortable. Truth often does. When you've spent months, maybe even years, trying to make sense of mixed signals and half-efforts, clarity can feel overwhelming. But this clarity is the gift you've been praying for without realizing it. You asked God to show you the truth. You asked for peace. You asked for direction. And sometimes the only way God answers those prayers is by exposing what could never take you where your spirit is destined to go. There is nothing wrong with loving deeply. There is nothing wrong with hoping. There is nothing wrong with giving someone a chance to rise. What becomes painful is when you forget that love is meant to rise with you. You weren't meant to carry the relationship alone, and you weren't meant to teach someone how to love you step by step like you were raising a child emotionally. You weren't meant to feel like you were auditioning for a role in someone else's life. And you weren't meant to sit in silence, waiting for someone's spirit to catch up to their words. The love you offered was real. But what he offered back was limited. Not malicious, not intentionally cruel, just limited. His heart never stretched where yours naturally expanded. His spirit never connected where yours reached. And that's what God is beginning to reveal to you, not that he is a bad person, but that he was never the right partner for the level of love you carry. You were thinking in terms of soul connection, while he was thinking in terms of situational comfort. You were preparing for a future, while he was living in the moment. You were building something stable, while he was holding on to something familiar. His love existed, but it remained surface level. It never rooted itself deep enough to weather storms, sacrifices, or growth. This is why your spirit has felt disconnected. This is why the relationship felt like a puzzle missing a piece you couldn't identify. This is why his affection felt warm one day and distant the next. You kept trying to bond at a spiritual depth he didn't possess. Not because he didn't want to, but because he couldn't. And that difference matters. God is exposing this now because you deserve a love that matches your level of emotional intelligence, sensitivity, and compassion. You deserve someone whose spirit responds to yours without needing to be pushed or persuaded. You deserve a love that moves naturally, not one you constantly have to revive. When the truth fully settles, you will begin to notice the tiny ways you were breaking yourself to hold the connection together. The small compromises that felt harmless at first but began to chip away at your identity. The emotional labor you carried on your own. The unspoken disappointments. The quiet tears. The way you shrank your needs so you wouldn't feel like a burden. The way you forgave patterns that broke you because you believed his intentions were enough. But intentions don't build relationships, actions do. And God is ready to show you that you deserve both intention and follow-through. Words and spirit. Promises and consistency. There is a beautiful turning point coming, even if you can't feel it yet. You will start to reclaim the parts of yourself you buried for the sake of maintaining peace. You will start to trust your intuition again. You will start to feel your energy return. You will start to notice your joy resurfacing. You will start to open your heart to possibilities outside of the pain you once clung to. The revelation God brings will be the beginning of your emotional rebirth. You will no longer be fueled by confusion. You will no longer operate from fear of losing him. You will no longer exhaust yourself trying to understand someone who does not understand themselves. You will no longer feel responsible for healing a heart that refuses to do the work. The moment God exposes what has been hidden, your spirit will exhale. Your mind will quiet. Your heart will soften again, because it will finally be free from carrying what was never meant for it, and then something even more powerful will unfold. You will begin to see love differently. Not as something you chase, not as something you negotiate for. Not as something you settle into out of fear, but as something sacred, something that finds you when alignment is right. You will see that love is not supposed to feel like constant worry. Not supposed to feel like questioning your worth. Not supposed to feel like guessing someone's intentions. Not supposed to feel like fighting for basic respect or consistency. Real love is steady. Real love is grounding. Real love brings clarity, not emotional storms. This exposure, this revelation, this shift God is orchestrating is preparing you for the love that was meant for you all along. A love that meets you in spirit, not just in language. A love that honors you, not just admires you. A love that protects your heart, not drains it. A love that grows with you, not holds you back. A love that shows up when things get difficult, not one that disappears until things get easy again. What's ahead of you is worth the release. What's ahead of you is worth the revelation. What's ahead of you is worth the truth God is bringing into your life. You are not walking into loneliness, you are walking into alignment. You are not walking away from love, you are walking toward the love that reflects who you truly are. The healing has already begun. The truth is already unfolding. And the peace that's coming will make you wonder why you ever held on so tightly to someone whose spirit never held you back. You are stepping into a chapter where your heart will finally understand why it never felt safe in that connection. Not because he was harmful, but because he was not rooted. His love leaned on your strength, and your love leaned on your spirit. You carried the depth while he carried the words. But a relationship held up by one person eventually collapses, and God would not allow you to remain in a place where you were destined to shrink. That is why the truth is coming now. That is why the exposure arrives in this season. Because God knows you're finally strong enough to see what you once protected yourself from seeing, you will soon realize that the emptiness you've been feeling wasn't loneliness, it was misalignment. It was the quiet ache that comes from loving someone whose spirit was never in sync with yours. You kept trying to make his affection feel full, but it remained hollow. You kept trying to interpret his heart, but it stayed half open. You kept trying to meet him where he was, but he wasn't trying to move. And now God is saying, enough. It is time to see the truth so you can step into the love I designed for you. This revelation is not coming to punish him or shame him. It's coming so you stop handing your emotional future to someone who only knows how to love halfway. It's coming so you stop hoping for potential while ignoring patterns. It's coming so you stop confusing a soft voice with a steady heart. It's coming so you no longer need to justify behavior that never honored you. God is pulling back the curtain not to break your spirit, but to restore it. He is revealing the hidden heart so you can reclaim your own. The freedom you're about to feel will be quiet at first. It will arrive like a gentle shift inside you, a sigh, a loosening, a letting go you didn't force. You will stop checking your phone as often. You will stop rehearsing conversations. You will stop waiting for apologies, explanations, or proof that he loves you. You will stop trying to decode mixed messages. You will stop taking responsibility for his emotional unavailability. You will stop believing his potential is your promise. You will stop fighting for clarity from someone who keeps hiding behind charm. Piece by piece, the emotional grip will melt away. And when it does, clarity will feel like oxygen. Peace will return to your nervous system. Your mind will stop spinning. Your heart will soften again. You will look at the situation and finally see it for what it was, not a failure, but a revelation. Not a loss, but a release. Not the end of love, but the end of something that never had the capacity to bear the weight of your soul. What God is bringing into your life next will require this release. Because the love that's coming will be built on truth, not convenience. On consistency, not confusion. On mutual effort, not emotional labor falling entirely on you. On spirit, not just words. On alignment, not just attraction. On commitment, not just chemistry. The next connection will not drain you, it will nourish you. It will not ask you to prove yourself, it will recognize your worth immediately. It will not require you to shrink, it will ask you to rise. It will not love you only in conversations, it will love you in decisions, in actions, in daily presence, in spiritual connection. When that love comes, you will understand why God didn't let this one continue. You will see why the truth needed to be exposed. You will see why God disrupted the illusion. You will see why your heart felt restless even on the best days. You will see why you were being stretched, refined, awakened. You will look back without bitterness, without longing, without regret, only gratitude. Gratitude that God protected you. Gratitude that He intervened. Gratitude that He didn't let you tie your future to a heart that could never match yours, and you will thank yourself, too, for your strength, for your sensitivity, for your patience, for your loyalty, for trying, for loving with honesty. You will stop blaming yourself for someone else's emotional limitations. You will stop believing that you needed to be smaller to be loved. You will stop thinking you were hard to love. You will see clearly that you were the blessing. You were the stability. You were the warmth. You were the anchor. You were the prayer someone else is waiting for. God is simply redirecting you towards someone who can actually hold what you've been carrying alone. In time, you will feel a shift so powerful you won't be able to deny that it came from God Himself. Your spirit will feel lighter. Your energy will feel new. Your heart will feel open again. You will begin dreaming again, believing again, hoping again. The truth won't break you, it will build you. It will shape you into someone wiser, stronger, softer, and more aligned than you've been in years. And when love arrives, real love, steady love, spiritually aligned love, you'll understand why God had to expose the heart that was only loving you in words. You'll understand why He couldn't let you stay attached to something that never had the strength to love you back the way you deserved. You'll understand why He allowed the truth to rise to the surface, so you could finally see that you were never asking for too much, you were asking the wrong person. The revelation is coming. The release is coming. The renewal is coming. And soon, you will step into a chapter where your heart is met, matched, and mirrored by someone whose love is not just spoken, but lived. Someone whose spirit recognizes yours. Someone who doesn't hide. Someone who doesn't fear depth. Someone who shows up. Someone who loves in truth. When that day comes, you will whisper to yourself, "This is why God exposed what was hidden. This is why He didn't let me settle. This is why He intervened. Because He was never taking love away from you, He was guiding you toward the love meant to change your life."